And we welcome you upstairs at the Raleigh Volleyball Complex on this cool, rainy, windy day. Darren Goldwater and Rachel Norica, beach volleyball player and a coach. LSU has won 18 of their last 20 matches. The only team to beat them in that time is Florida State. How can they change their fortunes today?
I think LSU is ready. They've been playing really well, getting better each day of this tournament. So as long as they can stay mentally tough in this weather, I think they have a really good shot today. One
thing the Tigers have going for them, a spectacular duo on the number one court. Coppola and Nuss are the only duo to give Florida State a loss. Any point during this tournament, they're strong. How can Florida State match up with them?
Florida State needs to serve tough and play some serious defense. They're going to go after Nuss most likely, and she's so consistent, so they're going to have to play a really tough defense.
LSU in search of their first CCSA title. Florida State trying to make it 3 in a row. The automatic berth to the NCAA tournament is on the line as we crown a beach volleyball champion next. Megan Davenport, they clinched a spot in the semifinals in the final day of pool play. On court number 3 for Florida State, Macy, Jerger, and Sara Putt. They're 16-0 playing together this year. They've got the all-freshman team member Hunter Domanski and Olivia Powers as the 3 pair for LSU. On the number 2 court, Katie Horton and Hailey Luke, who won it in 3 sets earlier today over FIU, part of an all-conference team. And they're going up against Hailey Nelson, Mandi Orellana, a duo that's been struggling, lost their last 3 matches. And on the number 1 court, Paranagua and Freire for Florida State, all conference at the number 1 spot, but they're going up against LSU's duo, the pair of the year in the CCSA, Coppola and Nuss, who've won 28 consecutive sets. And they're the only team to give Florida State a point against them in this tournament. Along with my partner, Rachel Norica, Darren Goldwater with you. Let's start out, Rachel, with the rain and the wind and the conditions. Does it level the playing field?
Yes, it does in some respects, but both of these teams are so solid, 1 through 5, and everyone's got to play in it. So as long as you can serve tough and stay aggressive offensively, I think it'll be fairly equal to both sides. It's going to come down to defense on both sides, I believe.
How about that defense from Nuss, although she's unable to bring it back in after Coppola's miss hit. And Florida State started 2-0 here in the first set. If you're unfamiliar with beach volleyball, it's somewhat simple. There are 5 courts going at once. Each court is a best of 3. And the first team that wins 3 matches wins the championship.
Unlike the semifinals, we will stop once the third set is clinched.
Coppola with a big swing, but Paranagua up to turn it away. 4-0 start for the Seminoles. Couldn't have drawn it up better.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're going at Coppola instead of Nuss, but it's working so far.
Remember, this is a duo that's won 28 consecutive sets. Wow, Freire laying out to keep this play alive here for Florida State.
Replay call. There was a ball, I think, that rolled on the end of the court over here, which is unfortunate for Florida State because that was an awesome defensive play by Freire.
And that was one of your keys today for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, these girls make this game look easy, but it is one-on-one in every situation, so every dig is huge.
And it's not exactly easy today, however easy they make it look. The sand is cold, it is raining, it is windy, it's been affecting balls all day today. And the top pair for Florida State has a 5-1 lead here on Coppola and Nuss. Paranagua and Freire, no slouches either. They're an all-conference pair. They're the reigning national pair of the week. Coppola clips the line right there for the second point for the Tigers.
Yeah, I look for Coppola and Nuss to get their rhythm going here in this first game despite this slow start. But Freire and Paranagua are a great pair and going to be tough for them to beat.
As a pair, the Seminoles' top team is 14-2 together this year. Paranagua tries to angle one towards the corner, and it slips wide on her. Florida State went unbeaten in the regular season in conference play. They went 10-0. They beat LSU the back end of the regular season, and then again in this conference tournament. Sophomore Nuss elevates and places it home. Her and her teammate Coppola, just sophomores. They were outstanding together last year and have only built on their success this year.
Yeah, these two have been playing together since they came to LSU and are such a good partnership. They're so strong but so even-keeled emotionally.
They balance each other well. Their strengths really complement each other.
Yeah, absolutely. At Florida State, you see Freire and Paranagua are similar in size, and you'll see them split the blocking responsibilities. But Coppola and Nuss, Coppola is a full-time blocker, and Nuss is a full-time defender, and they work really well together.
Coppola, the more heralded of the two coming out of high school. That's her registering the point to lock things up here in the opening set. That's the second time we've seen Paranagua try and use the left hand to push it left and miss it wide.
Yeah, she needs to just stay aggressive offensively, especially in this rain.
How tough is it mentally to stay focused in the midst of, the rain, the wind, the conditions?
It's really tough, especially when all of those collide. It's not just chilly, it's raining. It's one thing if you have to deal with one or the other, but if you have wind, rain, and cold, it's definitely tough.
It's the second straight year the championship has been played in less than ideal conditions.
Yeah, last year it was brutal. The rain was going sideways, and the Florida State was here last year, so this is not new weather for them here in Atlanta, but it's definitely taking the toll, as you can see some of their frustration in these last few points.
Florida State as a team has won 17 matches entering this championship, 17 in a row. LSU's won 18 of 20. Paranagua, Nuss, and unable to keep that one alive. The only losses for LSU in their last 20 matches, both have come against Florida State. Senior out of Austin, Texas. Paranagua with the service. And there's Freire. Easy for Nuss to handle, and Coppola places it perfectly on the tape on the back line.
That was a good, smart play by Coppola, taking a little pressure off Nuss there, where she'll see most of the serves in this match.
Here's Paranagua now. That was Coppola who got two hands on it. Paranagua turns her away, and Freire puts it into the net. Top pair for LSU has won 26 consecutive matches, 28 sets in a row. And they're the first ever LSU pair to win the conference pair of the year. They give a point back.
I think serving is going to be really important today. As it gets further and further along, the ball will get a little bit heavier. And whoever can serve the toughest, I think, is going to score some easy points on that serve.
Coppola again with the nice placement. Sophomore was a very accomplished high school beach volleyball player. There's just not a whole lot of beach volleyball in the high school ranks.
There's not, especially here on the East Coast, but when you get out towards the West Coast, there is more, and that's growing. I think that'll change.
Great defense there from Nuss to handle that swing from Paranagua. And the top court is just going at each other here. Nuss got it. Best point of the match to this point.
Great defensive effort on both sides. You see Nuss was just sitting there on that 2 ball when she tried to back set that. It's like she knows exactly where they're going.
Both teams comfortably advanced through the semifinals. Florida State hasn't dropped a match in this entire tournament, going through pool play and then the semis. LSU's only defeat came against Florida State.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes when you see, you know, like the semi, Florida State won 5-0, they swept that, but it really was a lot closer than that in person. We had a couple three-set matches in that semifinal, and it was a lot closer than that score may have led you to believe.
All 5 courts are pretty much in agreement right now. Everyone at the technical timeout, which occurs when the teams equal 21 points in each of the first 2 sets. So play has gone to a timeout here on all 5 courts, giving you an update of what we know. Florida State leads on courts 1 and 4. LSU has the lead. I'm sorry, Florida State leads on courts 2 and 4. LSU has the lead on court 1 as you're watching. Court 3. And FSU doubling up LSU on court 5. So 3-2 in terms of sets right now. In the conditions like this, as a player, would you prefer not to even have these timeouts?
If you're ahead, yes. If you're behind, these timeouts are crucial just to be able to take a breather and regroup mentally.
So Florida State leads in the first set on 3 of the 5 courts. You see court 3 in the upper right-hand corner, court 4, and now we take you down to court 2. Nelson and Orellana for LSU. They could really deserve a win here. They've been kind of struggling their way through this tournament, particularly the last 2 days, against a duo for Florida State in Horton and Luke that are outstanding together.
Yeah, I think this is the new matchup for Horton and Luke this season, as I remember them playing with different people last season, but they've been very successful together this year.
To the tune of 19 straight matches that they've won. Here's Katie Horton, though. She's turned away. And here comes the Wisconsin transfer, Nelson. Man, what a big swing.
Big swing and a great dig.
Oh, and there's the finesse for the points. Nelson, who transferred in from Wisconsin, said the 2 fan bases are so similar. The towns might not be, but the fan bases are, and she feels at home playing beach volleyball with LSU after a great career indoors with Wisconsin. It's missed hit there by Luke, and a couple of points in succession for LSU, tying things up at 12. We take you back now to court number 1. LSU with a 5-point lead here on court number 1. And make it 6 as Paranagua puts it in the net.
Paranagua struggled these last couple points, and they're gonna, I would imagine, go at her this next serve after this timeout.
Florida State timeout here. Coppola and Nuss have steamrolled their way through 2.5 sets now today. Their semifinal was a breeze. They walked over South Carolina in 2 sets, and here they're out early on FSU here in this championship. Let's take you out now to court number 3. Duo of Macy, Jerger, Sara, Putt for Florida State. And Domanski, the freshman number 10 for LSU, pairs with Olivia Powers as they flip ends of the court. And we have a timeout now on court 3 as well. Heading back over to court 2, where they are locked up at 13. Give the edge now to Florida State. Redshirt senior out of Michigan has made it a 14-13 advantage for the Seminoles here on court number 2. Wide open spot close to the net. Perfectly angled down by Hailey Luke. Rain picking up now, as is the wind. Not just in consistency for the rain, but the size of the drops as well. Nelson pushes that one wide, and Florida State's lead swells to 3 on court number 2. Our top pairs. Florida State trying to hang in with Coppola and Nuss, who have won 28 straight sets and have a 6-point advantage here in the first. I think the wind has affected Paranagua considerably here in the first set.
Yeah, absolutely. She looks pretty frustrated right now, and deservedly so, but hopefully she can turn it around here.
Freire quickly over the net. And Paranagua's big swing is off the arms of Coppola, and a point for Florida State.
I think at this point, with the score 12 serving 18, their goal is to probably just change this momentum and get some momentum rolling into the second game here.
Florida State is getting close to set victories on courts 4 and 5. LSU very close here on court number 1. The pair of sophomores, the pair of the year in the conference. Here's Nuss. That's what she specializes in. Nuss with the dig, Nuss with the points. And we've got set point coming up for LSU. No, 19-12 now, 20-12. The wind is even playing havoc a little bit with our scoreboards. Big leads for Florida State on courts 2, 4, and 5 as LSU is close to closing out court number 1, which they've done here. Make it 29 consecutive sets for the top pair from LSU. Coppola and Nuss have registered the first set of the day. Come on back, exciting finish to this championship match, Florida State and LSU. Is 5 over yet? I think it's 20 to 15. Timeout. All right, so, okay, got it. So, it's fine. So you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can really stick on 2, because that's 18 all, or whatever it is. Well, I was going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, but stop. Or just start at 2. I don't care. Five did? Mm-hmm. All right, 5-1. So let's just come back to 2. You're getting a look at court number 5, where Goncalves and Torruella have taken the first set for Florida State on court number 5. Florida State is off to a pretty good lead here in terms of sets. Court number 4, a 21-12 victory in the first set for Kuhlman and McBain. Court number 3, a dominating win for LSU. They take first set 21-12. Check it 21-11. And on court number 2, it is a battle down to the end here of the first set. Court number 1, the only court Along with court number 3 now, both of those have just begun their second set. So a reminder, each individual match is best 2 out of 3. The first team that takes 3 matches wins it all. Coppola's got the block, and after winning the first set, LSU has the first 2 points of the second set on the number 1 court.
Yeah, this court number 2 set is going to decide who has the lead so far overall, as they're both split with 2 wins apiece right now.
Nuss elevates and shows a little bit of power to begin this second set, 3-0 in favor of LSU. Coppola and Nuss turned away Paranagua and Freire yesterday. Trying to beat them now in back-to-back matches. We got a match point coming up on court number 2 here. 1 point was just registered, so Luke and Horton lead it 20-18 now. And as Rachel just pointed out, a big point and a set here for Florida State, with the first sets on the other 4 courts split. That hits the line, perfectly placed from Hailey Luke. And the number 2 pair for Florida State grabs the opening set.
Close out on court 2, our first set.
Pretty tight here, Rachel, through these first sets on all 5 courts.
Yeah, it's super exciting so far. LSU is just so ready. Florida State has a big challenge on their hands if they want to three-peat this year.
LSU has never won this tournament. 3rd year of this tournament, and it's been won by Florida State each of the first 2 years. They're the number 1 seed again, are the Seminoles. Didn't drop a league duel or a match this year. You're looking at court 1 here, and a 5-2 lead for LSU as they'll change sides with 7 points on the board.
Nuss is such a difference maker. She has been so consistent, and while Coppola certainly has many strengths, Nuss has just been huge this tournament for them so far.
You're looking at court number 4 there, Megan Davenport, as we take you back now to 1. Brady tried to catch Nuss sleeping. That doesn't happen very often, and Nuss makes her pay for it.
No, it doesn't, and they keep trying to catch her, and every time she's right there. I don't know that the 2 ball is the right idea unless they're going to do it aggressively.
You can see the wind playing with some of these knuckled serves. Ball really jumps around. Paranagua leaves it for Freire. She's turned away by Coppola.
Coppola is such a consistent blocker. These girls may need to move their sets around a little bit when they're in systems, because right now they're struggling against her on those tight sets.
The rain and wind continues here at the Raleigh Volleyball Complex at the Lake Point Sports Complex, a gorgeous facility just outside of Atlanta for basically every sport. And here we're focused on the CCSA Volleyball Championships. It's been a great 3 days here, wrapping up with this championship. And we have a timeout on the first court. To recap the first sets, Florida State took 3 of the first sets, 3 of the 5, and LSU obviously took 2 of the 5 first sets. You're looking now at court 4. Molly McBain, Brooke Kuhlman, the Florida State pair, Allen and Davenport for LSU over on court 4. Florida State took the opening set here, 21-12.
Yeah, this is a really strong pair for Florida State, and I look to them to probably win this one in 2 sets. Kuhlman's just such a good leader and is such a consistent performer.
They've won 13 of their last 14 together. Has the Florida State pair on court number 4. And they're out to a decent lead in the second set here.
Yeah, you can see she was arguing that double call, but he's telling her she took it a little low and slow.
It's wild. Even as we watch court 4, you can see the ball from court 1 bouncing into your view. It's a lot of action, beach volleyball. If you've never been to an event, I'd recommend it. 5 courts at once. So action comes fast and furious, and the end can come in an instant. Wow, look at that from Coppola, using her palm to put it just inside the line.
Yeah, as you look around each court, each set looks really intense and close.
We go back to 4. 8-4 lead for Florida State here. Nice dig from Davenport. The point goes to the Tigers. Pretty tight all the way around. And second set action on all 5 courts. There's Molly McBain winning the point for the Seminoles. We're gonna head back to court number 1, the top pairs for LSU and Florida State. As a team, the Tigers are number 8 nationally in the AVCA polls, and FSU number 7. And this pair for LSU, the pair of the year in the conference. Paranagua perfectly done, clipping the net and dropping it over for their 5th point.
She saw Coppola pull on her block there and just challenged her short. That was a smart play, especially since that shot was into the wind.
Florida State feels very good about its chances. Should it get upended here in the championship to make the NCAA tournament as an at-large. And I think LSU feels pretty comfortable as well that they would be in regardless of the outcome today.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think both of these teams, if you look at their whole body of work this season, are probably a pretty good call to get into the national tournament.
But you want to go in there with some momentum. You want to go in with the champion tag of your
Absolutely.
conference. Nuss unable to bring that one back from Paranagua. And the top pair from FSU hanging tough on court number 1 in this second set. About halfway through the sets on court 4, court 3. Nicely done by Coppola, perfectly splitting the difference between Freire and Paranagua.
Yeah, you see Florida State, they keep mixing it up. They take a couple to Nuss, take a couple to Coppola, but both of them are siding out really consistently, so it's gonna be tough for them. They've got to pick up some balls on defense and make sure they're serving tough and keeping their shots like that one in the court.
That was Paranagua, who really had to battle through some of the wind before she got comfortable in the first set. She seems to have settled down, mostly here in the second. As I say that, she puts one right back into the net.
Yeah, those service errors add up to big points at the end of these sets.
A 12-7 lead here on the number 1 court. LSU took the first set, but Florida State not willing to just give them the second set here.
No, that was a great set by Freire. Not the best pass that Tory wanted there, but Freire got to it and gave her a great set to put away.
One more time for Coppola, and she angles it across perfectly. So a 5-point lead for LSU on the top court. When we get you back, there's going to be a lot to be determined in the second sets on all 5 courts. The second sets all across this Rally Volleyball complex. I would expect some points to begin to get registered here really in the next few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Court 5, Florida State's up by 1. Court 3 looks like it's tied, so it's tight all across the board right now.
Beautifully placed by Hailey Nelson, the grad transfer. We told you came in from Wisconsin, but she's from North Carolina, so it's not as though she's exceptionally far from home down in Baton Rouge. Mandi Orellana battled injuries throughout her career. She's got a torn ACL that she's come back from, a shoulder injury as well. And number 15 serving right now on court number 2 for LSU has really come back strong.
Yeah, she's
a
great athlete. She's got a great touch on the ball, really smart player, and it's good to see them picking up a little rhythm here in the second game, pushing Florida State a lot harder here.
Nice save, Hailey, Luke, and Horton. Nelson turned away and puts one back into the net.
Florida State got fortunate on that one as Luke got stuck up at the net and Nelson really had the entire left side of the court wide open. This is such a tight match here. This next serve is going to be a big one for Florida State.
The largest lead in set number 2 on any of the 5 courts is 5 right now. Everything else being played within about 2-3 points in that window. It's as tight as you could ask for right now for a championship, or really for any match. Well done. Horton with the dig, Luke with the swing.
Yeah, these girls are leaving it all on the line. You can tell by looking at them. I mean, they're soaking wet. It's cold, but they're doing everything they can to get every point here.
Florida State took the opening set on this court. And Nelson and Orellana have gone up 2 here in the second set.
We played at 21, so there's a good bit of game left. Florida State wants to win it. It's going to come down to those defensive plays. It's just a couple of points determines it when it's this close.
We're going to keep you on your toes. We're going to stay on our toes here in the next couple of minutes. Court 4 is getting close for Florida State. Court 3 as well. That was Luke putting one back into the corner. With Rachel Norica, plays beach volleyball, coaches beach volleyball, knows the ins and outs. I'm Darren Goldwater. We're watching through the rain and the less than ideal temperatures, and we take you out now to court number 3. Check it, we got court 4 here. Kuhlman to serve.
Florida State won the first set of this match. Great dig by Kuhlman.
Not only did they win the first set of this match, they're 3 points away from grabbing the second as well.
LSU playing much better this second set against a very tough and very consistent Florida State pair.
So in your view, you can see courts 4 and just a little bit of 1 here as we'll focus on 4. Florida State trying to finish off LSU and register the first team point of this match.
And reporting our first scores, we've got on court 3, 21-15.
Court number 3 has just gone final. Florida State has taken court number 3.
I believe
it's only
they're
the
forcing
second
a third
set.
game.
So right, so that forces the third set. So no point has been registered there. So a third set coming up on court number 3. Florida State 3 points away on court number 4 from actually registering a point. And boy, on court number 1, Florida State's made quite a charge to get back into the second set as well. We take you back to 1 now, where Florida State is down just 2. Make it 1. as Freire puts it down for the point. Nuss and Coppola have been as dominant a pair as any in this league over the last few weeks.
Yeah, which is amazing to think about since they're just sophomores, but they are so consistent.
Rain coming down harder. The pool play days on Friday and Saturday was great weather. Just getting you ready for the elements, make it a little tougher to crown a champ. Dumped in by Paranagua. And Florida State has clawed all the way back to work even here in this second set after taking it on the chin in the first set and early in the second. Paranagua turns away Coppola. Momentum has noticeably shifted to the backs of the Seminoles on court number 1.
Yeah, Tory needed that block. She's been pretty frustrated both sets in this match so far, and that was a big block for her. We'll see if they can keep this serve.
Florida State trying to force a third set. Coppola and Nuss trying to register the first points of this match. Paranagua with the dig. And the point.
Great play. Another great block, great defense. Both teams are fighting really hard.
Big time run for Paranagua and Freire, has them within 2 points of evening. One set apiece here on court number 1. On court number 2, it is a 15-12 lead for LSU. Florida State took the opening set, so holding true to form, the teams that dropped the opening set are either in the lead or close to in the lead here in the second sets. Still no points have been registered. Team points. We're continuing to watch our action here on court number 2 as Katie Horton extends the point for Florida State and brings the Seminoles within 1 here. 15-14 is LSU's lead on the court you're watching, court number 2. That was the score from earlier on court 3 that evened it at 1 set apiece.
And on court 5,
on court 5, LSU just evened it out. They're going to a third set.
So third sets on courts 3 and 5. Florida State looking to force a third set on court number 1. And Florida State trying to finish off a point on court number 4. Hope you're having fun. This one's a lot of fun to keep track of. Off the net and out of bounds. 20-17 and a set point for Florida State on court number 1 at the top of your screen.
Hit the ball!
We take you to set point on this top court.
Be aggressive!
And that'll go to LSU. It had been about 5 or 6 consecutive points for Florida State at that point.
Yeah, they need to settle down, regroup, and side out right here for game.
Set points going on 2 courts simultaneously, and one
Just
of them
out.
is a victory for Florida State on court number 1. So third set coming up on court number 1. Meanwhile, on court 4, as we head to break, court 4 is also going to a third set. Courts 1, 3, 4, 5, all going to a third set. We are tied at 16 in the second set on court 2. Wow, what a championship. Oh. Oh. 17s.
About 5 sets, 4 are going to 3, and you wouldn't hit and ask for anything more in a championship match. This is level of play from all the players.
We take you live to court number 2. Outside of this court, 4 other courts are into a third and deciding set. Here we are in the second set. Florida State trying to finish off LSU and get the first point here on court number 2. And they're 1 point away. Our first match point on any of the 5 courts. It comes on court 2. Katie Horton and Hailey Luke. In search of the first point of this championship match. It's Nelson who clips the line and fends off the first match point.
Big serve receive for Florida State here. If they can side out, their teammates are going to hear it, and I think it's going to give them a boost.
And there it is, off the line. Florida State captures the first point of this championship match.
Point on the board.
Katie Horton and Hailey Luke have won 20 matches in a row, and they've put the first point on the board here at the championship.
Their first team point on the board. Long way to go in this championship, ladies and gentlemen.
Elsewhere, we are in a third set on the 4 other courts.
Florida State is up 9-8 on court 3 in the third set.
Great action on all 5 courts here.
Looks like Florida State's out to a good lead on court 4 as well.
Are all in 15-point rally point games.
You are looking now at court 3. Receiving 25 and 10, Powers and Domanski. And Jerger and Putt serving for Florida State. Florida State won the second set on court 3 to force this third set.
Timeout by LSU. Florida State's got some momentum going into this switch. Remember, this third set's only to 15 points.
It's a good thing to keep in mind on all 4 of these courts. Miss hit for Paranagua on the number 1 court as you're watching a timeout on 3. You can see the number 1 court a little bit in your foreground and some coaching here. I believe that's Brooke Niles, the head coach there, trying to see through the raindrops. It most certainly is. The 3rd-year head coach Niles giving a word of encouragement to her number 3 pair in Jerger and Putt. Now we go to the 4th pairs on court number 4, where Florida State has a commanding third set lead at 6-1. That's
McBain just missed that back line.
McBain digs it. Kuhlman sets her up, and that one's a little bit better.
Yeah, she didn't miss that one. They're definitely going to go after her as Kuhlman's older, has more experience, and is much more consistent. But this is a big momentum serve here at 7-2 for Florida State.
Only 1 point has been registered. A straight set victory on court number 2. Third sets everywhere else. This is court number 4. The elevation for Davenport.
Great swing.
It's a big point. Really keeps them within striking distance at 7-3. As we go to court 3, Jerger and Putt inching up on the second point of this match.
Jerger with a great cut shot there, I believe, to give Florida State lead 12-9.
So 3 points away from the second point team-wise of this match.
Great dig.
And another point for Florida State. How about Macy Jerger, the junior out of Fort Myers?
Jerger has been so consistent over these last few years. A really great student athlete.
First team to 3 team points will claim this championship. Florida State already captured court number 2. They're 2 points away from a victory on court number 3 after dropping the opening set 21-11. Kept alive by Putt. Jerger leaves it 4, and 1 point away now are the third pair, Putt and Jerger for Florida State.
You see Putt giving Macy her blocking sign here, telling her to go at the left player, and she just hits it right up the seam. That's a great way to end.
Jerger aces it to finish off the match. 1 more point now for Florida State will make the Seminoles 3-time champs. They've captured victories on court 2 in straight sets, court 3 in 3 sets. And the Seminoles lead it 2-0. Third set's continuing on courts 1, 4, and 5.
Florida State just took a 4-point lead on court 5.
Court 5 is the closest to 15.
See Francesca back to serve right now.
And you can see the score. It is 10-6 right now, Florida State on court 5. Punched over there by Torruella, and it's 11-6 over on court 5.
Actually, that's Ava serving. She's got a great serve too, so this is the one I'd want back. Serving here when the game's on the line.
Ava Torruella spins that one down, and it's dug out by Riley Young. And LSU will take the point. It's 11-7 out on court 5. It is 10-7 Florida State on court 4. And on court 1, it is 9-8 Florida State. So the Seminoles lead in the third set on all 3 remaining courts. And a reminder, LSU needs to win all 3 of these courts in order to claim the championship. Looking live at court 5. Well placed by Riley Young, senior out of La Jolla High School in California. Extensive beach volleyball experience out in California in her high school days. We stay on court number 5. First to 15 in this third set, and 1 point away from a championship. That one will clip the net and go wide. Florida State's lead is 3. Riley Young and Maddie Ligon on court 5 for LSU have been dominant in that 5 spot, and they have clawed their way back close here. (12-10) on court number 5 as we have a timeout on that court. Timeouts on court 4 and 5 right now, with Florida State in the lead on both by 2 on court 5, by 1 on court 4. And back on court 1, it's LSU that's getting close to a third set victory. LSU leads at 12-10 on court number 1. Where will the championship point come from? Will it be Florida State? Will LSU come back and shock the Noles and take the third set of the 3 remaining matches? We take you to court number 1. Nuss can't get it over. 12-11, LSU leads on court number 1. You never know what to expect when you've got 5 courts going at once, but this has given you everything you could ask for, particularly for a championship match and the weather notwithstanding. Here's Coppola now. Nuss digs it out. Coppola keeps it alive. Florida State wins the point as Freire evens it up. We go to court 5. LSU has captured the most recent point on court number 5. (13-11) is the score on court 5. Florida State leads it. Seminoles 2 points away from a championship, and they're 1 point away from a championship now as that one sails long. So will championship point come on court number 5? Ava Torruella, the redshirt sophomore,
point on the board.
and Goncalves. They've got a match and a championship point. And LSU staves that one off. Riley Young pushed it back into the corner. Championship point number 2 coming up. Meanwhile, court number 1 is about to have a championship point, but it doesn't matter because the victory comes from court number 5. And the celebration is on for the Seminoles. Ava Torruella, Francesca Goncalves rally in 3 sets and take the third for the championship for the Noles.
What a great
4
match.
courts out of the 5 go to 3 sets.
Matches going all 3 sets.
In the end, it's
What a
Florida
great
State
job by both of
that
these
turns
great
away
teams.
LSU for the
Congratulations,
3rd
ladies.
time this year and for the 3rd time in 3 years.
We'll be back with the
Florida State,
award
the
presentation
CCSA
in
champs.
just a couple of minutes. Great job. Thank you, referees, for a great job. And all of our volunteers, too. Thank you very much for being here. We'll be right back with our award presentation in just a minute.
LSU pushed the Noles to the brink. In the end, it's Florida State that will carry an 18-match winning streak into the NCAA tournament, and they will also carry with them the banner of 3-time reigning champion of the CCSA. We'll take a break. We'll get you back and wrap things up from the Raleigh Volleyball Complex. The Seminoles are champions again. The number 1 seeded Seminoles of Florida State, a 3-0 victory in the championship match. The CCSA champs for the 3rd consecutive year. We go down to Rachel Norica.
Congrats, girls. Feels good, right? I know 2 years in a row we've had awful weather, but you guys have been so mentally tough. It looked great. How did you prepare mentally for just competing in rain and cold and wind? How does that change your game plan?
I think we just focus on our side. Don't worry what they're doing, just focus on our side. We know the weather's a little rough, but it is for them too.
Everyone keeps asking, how much harder does the weather make it for you? Does it? Are you guys just so excited and so intent on just getting each point, or does it really impact the level of play?
It definitely impacts the play, but I think also having it bad last year too, it was kind of like a tradition, like coming full circle. We're back here, it's like the same weather, so it just had that sentimental value too, and so we were not going to let them win it with that rain.
Awesome victory. LSU played so tough, and you guys, it just came down to a few points on each court. So great job. Moving into these next week or two, how do you prepare for the national championships? I know you guys don't just want to be there, you want to compete. So how do you move from this and just prepare for it?
I mean, we're going to celebrate this for a while, if I'm going to be honest, because this was a really sweet one this year. And this group of 4 seniors right here has led our team since I came here, and I'm just so proud of them. But, you know, we treat every weekend like it's our national championship. We prepare the same for everything. So we're just going to go back, we're going to get to work and grind out some practices and just be ready to go, like always.
Awesome. Congratulations, girls. Celebrate, have fun. You earned it.
We're getting ice cream!
Well, you can enjoy that ice cream, Tory. It is well deserved as Florida State, for the 3rd straight year, sweeps their way through the CCSA tournament and wins it once again, heading to the NCAA tournament as the champion of the league. LSU, meanwhile, should very well find themselves in the NCAA tournament as well as an at-large berth. A 26-12 season for LSU. They lost only 3 times in their last 21 matches, and all 3 were to Florida State. We'll be back to wrap it up here from the Raleigh Volleyball Complex, where Florida State has captured it all once again. What is the traffic we're looking at here? Trying to get what? Oh. Not gonna be a while. I think they gotta do their all conference service and all that. Rain or shine, it doesn't matter. You heard from Rachel and the Florida State team and their head coach Brooke Niles just a moment ago. Complete focus. They're going to celebrate this one for a little while. A hard-fought victory over LSU to reclaim this championship that they've now won 3 consecutive times. Awaiting the trophy presentation, the championship trophy to Florida State and also the all-tournament nods. You can bet that the top team from LSU, Coppola and Nuss, will be on the all-tournament team. The first set that they had dropped in 29, now 30 sets occurred in this championship. And they were really on the brink of losing the match as well when the championship clinching point occurred on court number 5. Court number 1 was getting set for a championship point as well in favor of Florida State. But that's all in the past now. None of that matters anymore. Florida State has won it again as the 3-time reigning champs. And Rachel, what would their challenges be heading into the national championships, elevating their level of play to the likes of the Southern Cals and UCLAs of the world?
It's such a huge challenge. You know, I hate to admit it because I'm a Midwest girl, but historically the West Coast has been a stronger volleyball coast, and some of those girls have been playing since they were, 8, 9, and 10 years old.
That's right.
And are now just playing the game that, their muscles have memorized for years and years and years. And it's just a different level of play. I think Florida State, having gone the last few years, is ready to not just show up, but compete. And they're definitely athletic enough to do so.
They've got the veteran leadership of the 4 seniors that are on their top 2 teams, their top 2 pairs. Here's the presentation of all tournament.
From FIU, Theta Frasca and Bianca Bianchin, excuse me. From South Carolina, Shannon Williams and Allie Denny. From Tulane, Maddie Mertz and Hailey McHugh. How about a big round of applause for the team from Tulane? And our next member of the all-tournament team from LSU, Claire Coppola and Kristen Nuss. Round of applause for the team from LSU. They did a great job getting to the final. And from FSU, Macy Jerger and Sara Putt. It's a great thought up. Big hand of applause. And the last members of the all-tournament team and the pair of the tournament from Florida State, Katie Horton and Hailey.
That's the pair of the tournament, and it goes rightfully so to Katie Horton and Hailey Luke. They win their last 20 matches heading into the NCAA tournament. They went 6-0 in the CCSA tournament.
Round of applause. At this time, let's recognize this year's CCSA runner-up team, LSU.
What a run for LSU this year. They closed on about as high a note as you could close on without a championship, winning 18 of their last 21 matches. Had it not been for Florida State, could have been 21-21. Seminoles the only team to beat them in their last 21 matches, and they did it 3 times.
A big round of applause for LSU, ladies and gentlemen. They made it great play for 3 days,
They can
ladies.
expect to head back to the NCAA tournament
And
in
now
all
it's
likelihood.
time for us to recognize the CCSA
When that's announced next
Beach
week.
Volleyball champion for 2018, the Florida State Seminoles.
Third time in 3 years that picture has been taken. Florida State holding the CCSA trophy high as champions of the league. What a day it's been. This telecast by 11 Sports was granted by the Coastal Collegiate Sports Association. Any use and rebroadcast requires the express written consent of the CCSA and 11 Sports. For Rachel Norica and the entire 11 Sports team, great job today in less than ideal weather conditions. I'm Darren Goldwater. It's been a pleasure working with you. Thanks for watching the CCSA Volleyball Championships.